welcome, guys and girls, to the new Rebel Nation Conversation podcast. I am your Rebel fan 69 across most of the Ole Miss message forums and social media platforms. And my co-host across the aisle here, that's the Metal Reb. Together we're making up the Rebel Nation Conversation podcast team. Metal, tell everybody what we are here.
Well, we're just getting going with this thing, and we just want to talk about Ole Miss sports and sports in general. It'll be dominated by Ole Miss talk, obviously, unsullied by sponsorship. We're just kicking it off with just the two of us. We'll see what happens later. Eventually, we'd like to bring guests on and do some other things, but for now, that's where we're at. That's what we're about. That's what we're here to do. We've got a lot of content right now for Ole Miss football, and glad to have you along. Hope you enjoy the program. If you do enjoy it, tag somebody, tell a friend, and let's get this thing going.
Yeah, the kind of thing I wanted to kind of reiterate on that is that neither one of us are expert sports analysts or anything. We're just fans, and we're not going to.
We're nobodies, yeah.
Yeah, don't come to us for information, but conversation about the information that's already out there. Basically, what we're
we're rarely going to have any breaking news.
right.
Yeah.
Anyway, Metal, let's of course the elephant in the room, like we talked about all week long, is Kiffin, right? So obviously the big deal was the meeting on Friday. And as fans, about all we got out of Keith Carter was that we'll have a formal announcement next Saturday following the Egg Bowl. And at this point in time, no, I am prepared as that fan to just pretty much say that announcement's going to be he is 100% going to LSU coaching position. But hey, we're still talking about Lane Kiffin here, so that 100% has to have that little caveat in there of at least to like the 10,000th decimal point, 99.99%, right? So what's your thoughts here?
I mean, same thing. I see it the same way. I mean, I'm about 99.99% sure that he's gone. One thing I did not tell you is Friday, right before the meeting, I got a text from my friend in Tupelo. And
code name Tupelo, guys. Let's just go ahead and say this. Code name Tupelo.
Yeah. I've got a guy up there who knows more than I do. Let's put it that way. So he told me before the meeting started, or right when the meeting was starting, he said, and again, I haven't told you this until now. He said, don't expect a resolution today. And I was so frustrated by what he told me, I didn't even, I hoped he was incorrect, but he was not incorrect. He was exactly right.
Yeah.
The other side to that is he texted me back Friday night, and it very, very carefully said it's still not over. Take that as you will. Man, I'm tired of it.
Well, I'm tired of it
Tired.
too. All of us are, and
Tired of it.
And so, for anybody like that may be listening to this at some point, again, we're gonna say you're gonna hear us from time to time talk about code name Tupelo there, and like you said, I've met him through Metal, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you he's on the Christmas card mailing list. Let's put it that way. He if we get information from him, it's because he's not one to just spread something that's not that's not there. But okay, Metal, I'm going to just for once, and I mean, you know how mad I was Friday. I literally wanted to throw shit, but I want to right now. Let me play devil's advocate for a second, and by devil's advocate, I'm already on record here. I think he's 100% gone down to the 10,000th decimal spot. So I've went two more decimal places past you, but playing devil's advocate, I got to put myself in his position. Right? I got to put him in his point of view, and I'm guessing. All right, so
Well, that's a scary thought.
what if he is 100% truly just, he don't know. He is totally undecided right now. So putting himself in there, me and you neither one's as coaches. So we both hold jobs. So let's say we've got another good job offer, and our current employers told us, you know, man, I can give you 6 days, but I need to know within 6 days. If I am 100% completely undecided, I mean, and you too, wouldn't you want to take 5 days, 23 and a half hours to make that decision, to make sure you're coming up with? And I guess what the point I'm trying to make here is, if he does, let's say next Saturday that 10,000th little decimal point comes in there, and his announcement is, I'm staying at Ole Miss, I'm happy here. If he says that, as a fan base, don't we kind of actually have to say he just wasn't decided yet? He couldn't have been decided yet, because there's no way. He has to be. He's smart enough to know. He's smart enough to know the damage he's done to his public image right now with the way he's carried this out to everybody, not just Ole Miss fans. I'm talking about the world is talking about how he's acted, and he's damaged what he worked so hard to seemingly to try to repair. He wouldn't have done that. He has to know that's what happened, and he wouldn't have done it unless he was 100% undecided yet.
I mean, that's one take, you know, but the caveat to all of this is the guy doesn't think like we do. He's an unusual cat, and he thinks very, very differently. Now, everything you just laid out is what a normal, reasonable person would do. Normalcy clearly doesn't move the needle with him. So I see what you're saying. It makes sense. My problem is, I will never be made to believe that he didn't want to go to LSU or Florida, wherever he winds up. So if he is waiting, and if you're correct, and he still doesn't know yet, he's waiting on that Egg Bowl. And if we win, maybe there's something in him, even as weird as he is, that says, I cannot walk out on an 11-1 team getting ready to host a playoff game. Even he can't do that. Maybe. So if he stays, if he's even thinking about saying, I think it comes down to that Egg Bowl. Now, as far as percentages and everything, whether he stays or goes, I am 10 million% sure he's gone if we lose that game. So if there's any part of him that's thinking about staying, it's contingent on winning that game. And hell, I don't even know if I'd answered your question, but every time I start talking about this, I start rambling, and my thoughts start rambling, and I'm just sick to death of it, man.
Well, me too. And I guess my point just is, I almost got to think I get what you're saying. He's not normal, but I've got to try to think like him from a normal standpoint, because I can't, normal's relative, obviously. I mean, not everybody's going to call me normal, but I obviously think that
compared to him.
Yeah. So, I sent you a deal the other day where I was talking about kind of how I kind of would like to see these shows roll along, and of course this will change, but I kind of wanted to have a moment to talk about from what we've seen on the message boards. So this ties in. All right, so this is again just fan conversation. Everybody out there that we're talking about, did you see that thread last night about from Landry? Did you see that?
I did. I honestly can't even remember what it said.
Okay. Well,
other than he still hasn't decided?
Yes. All right. So that first off, I want to go ahead and go on record here. Mark me down in the I think it's creepy as hell to question the children category. Put me in that. I don't like bringing them up. I don't like all that talk about Knox wearing the LSU beats and stuff. The boy went on a damn uh, a trip down there the other day. All right, and they give him all kind of swag, right? I mean, this was supposed to
Yeah.
be on a visit for a potential player. I've never really heard it that much for sophomores, but anyway, there we are. Because you can't tell me this ain't all tied in. You know, they're willing to
Yeah.
offer a sophomore a freaking scholarship right now. They're just wanting
Yeah.
the dad, right?
Of course.
I've got other information that I'm not really ready to disclose right now too on how LSU's playing with this family. But again, mark me down in that, and that's a creepy attitude to be even talking to Landry about what she thinks her daddy's going to do. But then anyway, if she is true, she literally did tell this person. I don't know if how true this guy is. He's one of them Anon posters. That he's
What does
50.
that mean, by the way?
I would I pretty much think it's anonymous. You know, honestly I think it's like when you didn't know. I think they said that they get assigned that screen name when they didn't put one in there. You know, it didn't. It was like it gives you a non and then a number.
Yeah.
There's several of them. You know,
Yeah.
there's several of them out there. But anyway, I couldn't tell you which one this was. But he said,
Yeah.
and this guy said that she said to a friend of his. So this was a friend told his friend, you know, one of them type of that Lane is 100%. Well, it's 50-50, not 100% nothing. Between Ole Miss and LSU, Florida is 100% out of the question. But he's still 50-50 and don't know. And that just kind of fits into that devil's advocate. That's why it sounds like bullshit to me. But if it is true, that kind of back into my little devil's advocate thing a while ago. Have you seen anything on the board? Interesting topic that you would like to just?
It's just all repetitive right now. You know, rumors running wild. I mean, something else I heard Friday night that I didn't tell you this either, but what difference does it make? It's all craziness anyway. But apparently, and this is again supposedly coming from somebody who was in the room at the meeting, that it was a big mistake for Keith to release the statement that he released Friday because it put a negative vibe out there in regards to Kiffin staying at Ole Miss, and apparently uh, they were more positive that he may be staying than that statement insinuated.
All right, here's my thing on that. I honestly believe that whole meeting got leaked by Kiffin. Because we know Chris Lowe is his mouthpiece. That's his back channel, right? So if he didn't want something released, the meeting shouldn't have been announced. We shouldn't have known about the meeting because obviously Neil and Chase were asked to not report it. But all of a sudden now it's out there and it's done by Chris Lowe, someone that is really not affiliated with the university. So with the whole fan base knowing there's a meeting going on, you think we would have let that shit go without some sort of a statement coming out? Keith's hands were tied. I honestly felt like he had to put something out there.
Yeah.
Because we all knew it was happening.
Yeah.
I mean, we were glued to the freaking message boards, refreshing the damn thing every 50 seconds, you know, every minute, refresh. So Keith had to put something out.
Look, if you had a gun to my head with this thing, here's what I would say. Lane Kiffin's going to LSU. But for and I understand why, he wants to coach that Egg Bowl. Maybe one last ride
He wants to
with his players, whatever. Yeah, but I think he knows that's not going to happen. Well, I say it's not going to happen. I think he knows it's a lot less likely to happen. He knew he had a good shot at coaching Egg Bowl no matter what. Playoffs, he'll probably worry about that after the game. But to buy himself some time, not just with Keith, but with the fan base, he come up with this let's announce it next Saturday thing. So he can coach the Egg Bowl and then announce he's going to LSU.
Well,
Now,
that's exactly what I think
yeah,
too.
the issue with that, on top of the mind-boggling aspect of having an LSU head coach coaching the Ole Miss Rebels in the Egg Bowl, is the active recruitment of all those players to go with him. Now, from what I'm hearing, they ain't very many that's going to be sending him Christmas cards
Yeah, I
after all this.
kind of heard
So
too.
I don't know how many will go or not.
I don't think Lacey's going. From what I could read out there, I don't think he's going. But again, that's speculation that whether me and you need to make. But while we're staying on this message board thing, I know you're not on three, right?
Mm-mm.
Well, Jake Thompson over there, and I mean, obviously this. I don't know what I can say, but this is just information. But he did make a post. None of us have really ever thought about another reason why Kiffin may want to just drag his thing out was his incentives. It's in his contract as it says. So let me just kind of read through these. All right, with an Egg Bowl win, he gets an extra $150,000 in compensation. SEC championship, which is still in play, he gets $150,000 for participating in the SEC championship game. He gets another $400,000 if he wins the SEC championship. If he stays at Ole Miss and gets them into the CFP, here's the breakdown for that: $150,000 for participating in round one, $250,000 for participating in the quarterfinals, or $500,000 for participating in the semifinals, or $750,000 participating in the national title game, and $1 million extra for winning the whole damn thing.
Yeah, but he said it's not about money, remember?
No, I know, but it ain't never not about money I mean, there's
I
got to
know
be,
that.
I mean, everybody still got to do that. All right, and one last thing he said, with 10 wins, this feels like the only other bowl possibility outside of the CFP at this point. So if we had 10 wins, lost the Egg Bowl, and we get counted out, the Citrus Bowl, if he goes to and just participates in the Citrus Bowl, it's $125,000. So that was kind of interesting when I saw that.
Yeah, that is interesting. Um, I did see one thing on the board this morning I thought was not good news. And that is, and I didn't have a chance to really read the thread, but they were talking about David's article on the NIL shutdown and negotiation shutdown with the recruits.
Exactly.
What's that? Tell us about that.
Well, I went back when I saw that thread. I just immediately went over and went to David's article, and really all David was saying was that yes, it's been shut down. There's no more negotiations because even these players, even if it's big money on the table for them, they still want to know what staff they're coaching on. So it was really it's a much ado about nothing. It's just that for right
Okay.
now until we have resolution. That's why he's pretty much not going to be able to put any recruiting news out there. But
Yeah.
everybody that's anybody in the state of Mississippi will be at the Egg Bowl. That's another thing he did say. But that's really all that was. The only other thread that I saw that might have been down, I don't know if you saw this from our a guy named I really don't know how else to say it, but Dralius.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
But did you see his about update from LSU people? That was kind of this one wasn't bad news if you really want Kiffin to stay. Because this is a report, but this is off of On 3, but it was not behind a paywall, so he felt like he could report it. He said a report from On 3 yesterday indicates that Florida and Ole Miss have both matched LSU's massive offer to Lane Kiffin, which, as I mentioned yesterday, is worth roughly $13 million a year in compensation and a $25 million in revenue sharing and NIL for roster building. That's a combination between NIL and rev share. LSU sources whoever this is, I'm going to speak he's speaking in the first person, and I'm trying to. So LSU sources I usually tap are mum about all of this, but another source I spoke to yesterday has me less confident than I was the day before, and convinced that at least one of the major players is not as comfortable with the situation as he was earlier in the week. At this point, I wouldn't put LSU's chances of landing Kiffin any greater than those of Ole Miss or Florida, and I get the impression that it is far from a done deal. So that was the only other thing I've seen on the boards that I thought might be of interest.
Yeah, I read it. Um, they're, I mean, they've got to be getting a little frustrated too, man.
Well,
They put this massive package out there, and from what I understand, when they presented everything to his representation, they were kind of shocked that he didn't just trip over himself to get over there and accept it and resign at Ole Miss and sign their contract and all that. In other words, they're like, "What should I think about?
yeah,
This is LSU. What are you doing?" And that's got to not sit well with some of our friends over in Baton Rouge.
I ain't got no fucking friends in Baton Rouge. I'm going to
You
tell
know.
you. If I got friends in Baton Rouge, you can go ahead and shoot me.
But that has puzzled some of their people. And I'm gonna tell you something else. Now, sour grapes, call it what you like. Don't give a damn. If you go to Tiger Rant on the Tiger 247 board, there's a lot of LSU fans that aren't just over the moon about the possibility of getting Kiffin. What does that tell you? Anything? Does
Well,
that mean anything?
yeah, I'll tell you what it means to me. They see what he's doing, and they know good and well that, and it's not his dream job. It just ain't. He didn't wake up one morning and say, "Boy, I wish I could be the LSU head coach." He knows that. So I think they realize that he'll continue hunting greener pastures. I don't think he's ever going to be happy. You was talking about that itch the other day that he just can't scratch in Oxford. I honestly don't think I think he's got an itch he can't stay. He can't scratch that son of a bitch at any damn one place. It don't make a damn where he's at. I
Maybe.
honestly don't think that's it. And I
Maybe.
think they're all worried about that. If he come over there, they pay this massive amount out to him. And it ain't a damn done deal he's going to win right off the bat. I think the damage he's done to his deal, this could really hurt him and severely hurt him down the road talking to recruits. He may not be able to talk kids into even coming to LSU. So I don't know. And I think they're that worried about it. But,
I will disagree with you there. I don't think you could be bad enough to not recruit to LSU.
well,
I think you could.
I think they're worried about it, is what I'm trying to say. Why couldn't Brian
Yeah,
Kelly? I mean, Brian
he
Kelly,
did.
what
He
Brian
has
Kelly
talent
did.
in Baton Rouge.
He's got talent in Baton Rouge, but he, I don't know. You know what I'm saying.
They
I'm
got a
saying
lot of problems. Talented kids is not one.
but
I'm telling you, man. I think that job is. I think it's the best job in college football. I think it's better than the only rival would be Georgia, just because neither one of those places have any in-state competition. Man, even Alabama has to deal with Auburn.
I understand where you're coming from, but in today's day and age, Ole Miss is a better job than LSU. Ole Miss is a better job than Florida. It just is. It's a better
No
job.
way.
Yeah, better job. Now, it ain't a bigger brand. It ain't a bigger brand. I totally agree with you. LSU's always going to have the bigger name recognition, at least as we stand today.
Well, it's just an objective. I mean, you can't. There's no way to. I mean, it's depending on what metrics you're using. And what I always say is, if you ask somebody out of the loop, out of the picture, somebody in West Texas where you work, they know that LSU brand more
They
than
know
they
Ole
know
Miss too. First
the
damn
Ole Miss
thing they
brand.
ask, they know Ole Miss too. I ain't kidding. They do. over here we're well known. So anyway, we've beat this down to the end. I want to. Looking at the time we got here, we're about 25 minutes in. I think we got time to cover this subject right here. Let's talk about the Egg Bowl. Egg Bowl's coming up Friday, 28th. My deal here, Ole Miss, on paper, we can set that ball down 10 times and Ole Miss wins 10 out of 10 every single time. But this is not your regular Egg Bowl. It ain't a question of talent at this point. It ain't. State will be highly motivated to bust our season and send Kiffin out with a loss. And so, how does this Egg Bowl look to you, Metal? How did you see this bitch playing out on the field?
Man, they've got an opportunity in their minds to keep us out of the playoffs, and more importantly than that, literally cost us the coach. I believe that's how they're approaching it. They've never had any trouble getting up for that game anyway, never. But man, there's from their side of it, the way they think, they've got more at stake this time than any I ever remember, ever.
You could flip this coin around and put it on it. If they were the ones in our position, I know that's how I'd be feeling.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
don't fault them.
I mean, I 100% believe they're going to be highly motivated and they're going to.
I don't fault them at all. Now, as far as what happens on the field, I think, like you said, if this was a normal, even if it was a normal Egg Bowl, even by Egg Bowl standards, we're way better than they are. But I've seen some crazy stuff happen in Egg Bowls, especially when you see a motivated state team.
Oh man, you both have.
I've seen some crazy stuff.
Been to it.
So I wouldn't touch that game. I wouldn't touch that game with the money line. I would stay away from that game.
Well, you know me and betting. I'm not going to bet ever on Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Because I don't know in my head, am I separating my heart from my head? You know, I may be thinking I'm making what I think is an unbiased betting with my head, but I'm always going to be worried I'm betting with the heart, and that's not a good way to play. So here's my thing on it. You kind of touched on this a while ago about the players. I'm just not sure how this team feels about playing for Lane. Do they want to send him off with a win? Do they want to win in spite of him? I just don't know how
I've always heard that they're way closer to their position coaches, and that's all. I'm just hoping and praying that they're playing for those guys, because man, they don't care nothing about winning this game for Lane Kiffin. He don't give a crap about them, so why should they care about him?
From all reports that I've heard, all positions on the field, all of them, defense, offense, special teams, all love Joe Judge. So I thought earlier this week, if Kiffin's gone and he's leaving, I really kind of like the idea about putting Judge on that side, taking care of the sideline, because he's got NFL head coaching experience, but he's also the quarterback's coach, so he can communicate well with Chambliss.
Yeah.
And any of the offensive stuff. It kind of wouldn't be a whole lot different as far as the side of the ball that the guy's on than having Kiffin standing there. And then let those coordinators just stay in their role, because that's who they're used to trying to do this. So I thought that was good.
One last thing real quick. What do you think about the fight between Lane and Golding?
I didn't know there was one. Didn't see it.
Apparently last Sunday, a week ago today, they had a big altercation in the Manning Center about Lane's handling of all of this, and not considering how many other people are being affected by this. I'm not talking about fans, but all those coaches, the staff. I mean, yeah. They're not. They're doing well. They're making good money, but they're not they don't have generational wealth like Lane Kiffin. So the decisions he makes matters to them.
And I had not heard about this fight, but I tell you what, I got one contact that's pretty close to Pete, and I will reach out.
Yeah,
Because again,
I'd
I
like to.
felt like, you know what I'm talking about, and I felt like he would have told me about it, but he hasn't. But
Yeah,
the only thing I can say about this Egg Bowl, though, is I do know this. This team will be 10-1 going into Starkville. The team will have a chance for an 11-1 regular season and a hosting position in the CFP. Don't you? I just feel like they got a pride in themselves. That team's got to want to win this, regardless of who's walking the sidelines. I mean, they just
but
got to.
what ain't it a shame that you got to count on that instead of your head freaking coach
Absolutely. Yeah, we talked.
leading you into this game?
We for once can't. We having a great season, great as we and it's exceeded anything we thought about in August, and we can't even enjoy it. Cannot
Can't
enjoy
even enjoy it.
it.
Can't even enjoy it.
All right, so for everybody out there that might be watching this down the road, our plan is just trying to keep this at around 30 to 35 minutes per broadcast. So what we want to do is we're gonna make a break right here, and we're going to continue picking up the conversation with our next line of thought, and we're going to put out a part two or an episode two, basically from this same taping on hopefully Thursday. So stay tuned, keep coming back for us, and catch part two.
And all the ships at sea.